Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Keenan Higgins coming to you once again with another Black America Web exclusive. I have a very special guest, very easy on the eyes, but she's a very taken woman. But she's doing some amazing things right now, and I just can't wait to get into it. Uh, Please, Kyra Epps, welcome to Black America Web. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. So some of you may know the last name. She's married to Mike Epps, but we're not here to talk about that. We're actually here to talk about something really important. Kyra has just partnered with Habitat for Humanity over in Chicago, and I would really love for you to speak about just what drove you to that and what was some of the work that you find really pride in.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of backstory, I'm gonna bring my husband back into this because he's super important in this whole storyline right
As
here. But
always.
we 2020 was a really rough year. I'm sure you remember it was crazy. We were on lockdown, and at that time I was pregnant, and we were living in LA, and so it was hard. So we were like, let's go back. Let's be closer to our family. Mike is from Indianapolis. I'm from Chicago. So we decided to go back to the Midwest. And when we went back, my husband years ago had bought like 6 or 7 properties in a row on one specific block. And this block was so important because this was the block he grew up on, his mother grew up on, his grandmother bought a house on years and years ago. And so we were there, the houses were empty. And so I'm 6 months pregnant and we're fixing up these houses, right? And we both kind of sat down and was like, whoa, we're doing a really good job at this. And my producer mind, because at that point I was in television about like 12 years at that point. We were like, let's pitch this off to HGTV and see if they want to pick it up. And they did. So 6 months later, we were filming for HGTV, a series called Buying Back the Block. And he says this to this very day. He's like, all the work I've done, and people still walk up to me and ask me about buying back the block. And we were just so shocked at the response. Like we were like, whoa, this is huge, because we didn't realize that we were just fixing up our block, but if people were feeling that nostalgia of like, oh my God, I remember my childhood and where I grew up, and my mother owned this house, and my father and my grandfather, and how we were a community, and it was evoking all kind of emotions and people, specifically Black people, and it was just powerful. It was so powerful, and we realized we really had something there. And so me being from Chicago, I was like, Mike, I have to go back to Chicago and do some work there. I've done a lot in Indianapolis, but Chicago's where I'm from. My mother's still in Chicago. All my family is still there. And so I reached out to Habitat for Humanity, and it was crazy because I had one person that was trying to get in contact with me, and I was trying to get in contact with them. This lovely young man named Quincy. And so from that initial meeting we had, I came on board as their community impact partner. So over the next year, I am going to be working with them specifically on targeting folks for affordable housing. And they also have a program called the Homebuyer University, where people learn about how to embark on home ownership. And I'm also teaching a course on October 5th in Chicago about how to make a house a home. So a bunch of stuff I'm working with them on, but that's what really got me back there is I know the importance of what we did, and I want to do it in Chicago, where I'm from.
I love that. What made Habitat for Humanity such a great partner to do such a amazing just job with this?
Yeah, so the first thing is before I decided to come on board, they allowed me to sit in one of their classes. So they teach something called Homebuyer University. And they allowed me to sit in one of their classes. And I remember the day I was sitting back, and it was 150 people in this course. It was an online course. And I was just like listening to the questions that were being posed. And it was so many people like, well, what's the first step in buying a home? How do you, what kind of credit do you have to have? Who do you reach out to? Who's involved in this? And the university, and I have the book right here, it's so crazy. They give you this book, and the book is basically a syllabus on the steps you take to becoming a homeowner. And I was like, right there at that point, I'm like, so many people are intimidated by this process, one, or they don't even know how to start or where to begin. And that made me realize, like, oh, okay, this is something I want to be a part of because, and I was telling somebody this earlier, my kids, right? They're 2 and 4, but seeing myself and my husband be a part of this, I know they're going to have confidence because it's ingrained already. It's something they're like, oh, I'm not going to fear that because my mom and dad did it. And they did it like this and they did it like that. And so I think that having somebody be a part of this journey and making it less intimidating is really all you need, because it's not a hard process once you know what you know. You know, and so that's why I thought this was the perfect opportunity. I love what they were about. They were focusing on affordable housing. They had great classes for all the tips and tools you need to even become a homeowner. And then also, they are actually like nailed to hammer in the community, like they're on board in the community building houses. And so I was like, there's no greater place to or organization to be a part of than Habitat. So
I love that. Yeah,
my husband with me, so he's coming to everything.
oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's a family that works together
There
is
you
just,
go.
you know. Tell me a little bit about the work that, or even what it means to be a community impact partner.
Yeah. So I think I just explained it a little bit, but it's really the relation, right? So um imagine there's a person that has imagine there's a person, right, that comes to Chicago that's not from there, doesn't know the neighborhoods, um is not relatable at all, telling you, oh, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. The first thing you're going to think is, well, you don't understand, you're not from here, you don't get it. And so there's a sense of interpersonal that's missing that I feel I bring to the table. And I think that was, and my husband does too. I think that was the reason why Buying Back the Block did so well. There are shows like that, right? But why was it important when Mike and his wife did this project? It was because we mean something to the Black community, right? And you have this husband and wife who are going back to a place when they don't have to rebuild something that is for legacy and it's for family and it's for community. And I think that is the message that we are trying to share is, hey, let's get that back, right? Let's bring back that so that we have great structure for the generations to come. We have a community for the generations to come. And two, it's a financial investment. How are we passing off our houses? How much are our kids going to have when we're not here? Are they going to be okay? Right? It's thinking about all of these things in the right ways so that we can keep continuing a good cycle of generation and generational income as well.
Can you give me or give the BAW fam a do and a don't when it comes to home ownership?
Oh, okay. A do and a don't when it comes to home ownership. Oh my God, there's so many. I could think of things for design. I could think of things. I'm gonna give you a couple.
Okay.
So I'm not stagnant. So first thing is for home maintenance, right? The biggest thing I would say is you got to change your filters. And people don't think about this. People are in their homes for 10, 12 years, just like breathing in that air. But home ownership and maintenance is such an important thing to understand because most people are intimidated by it because they don't know what's behind the walls. But when you build a home, you understand the structure, right? Like every little particle that's there to help things work. And so for me per se, like when filters are changed and your HVAC, your heating and ventilation system is up to date, then that creates a functional system for the house to work. And one little thing of not changing those things can break the whole system down. Does that make sense? It's
I
like
think
this
so.
domino effect. So that's a big one. Taxes are huge. Taxes are huge, right? Like understand your taxes for your community and where you live. Get involved in the community organization so you can understand that as well. Because as we all know, you can own a home for 20 years and pay your mortgage on time every single month. But if you miss a tax payment, you're going to be in the tax sale, right? So it's like, we have to kind of cross our T's and dot our I's when it comes to home ownership, and being proud of it means being involved in things that can help you negate certain negativities around the spectrum of home ownership. Don't hire a bad contractor.
I like that one.
Right? Don't hire a bad contractor. You will overspend and things will fall apart, right? Don't cut corners on fixing things up. Like, don't do that. Again, a house is the domino, right? So one thing happens wrong, it leads to this thing happening, to that thing happening. It's maintaining is investing. Sadly, unfortunately, you got to spend money to invest to keep things in the right condition. So I would say do research on your contractor. Make sure that this person has insurance, this person is licensed. Ask about their work, go see their work, ask them to take you on site to something they've done before. Yeah, those are some good things. I wish I had more time to think about that. There's so many.
I
Um,
personally think you hit it on the nail,
yeah.
on both sides. So it was really
Okay.
great. And so to wrap it up, what with this work and even just where you are now and where you see it going in the future, what is your biggest dream for the outcome of what you're currently doing, and then what you maybe want to inspire other people to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I went back to Chicago recently to try to get the house that I was born in. And we lost it due to just miscommunication. We didn't lose it, I'm sorry. We sold it due to miscommunication because my family, they couldn't get on one accord. They were all arguing. It was seven brothers and sisters. This person wanted to keep it, that person didn't. This person wanted to fix it, that person didn't. So they just decided to sell it. And that was like our family heirloom, right? Those are my memories. Those are my core values. Everything was built there. And it was so special. And I wish that we still had it, because now my kids who are not from LA, you know, now I understand as an adult how important it is to have a place to call home, that home base. No matter where you go in the world, you have your structure, you have your foundation, you have your home base. And we're creating that now again, right? We're starting over doing that. But I think now is the proper time for people to think about that. Like, not only is this a financial investment, but this is a community investment. This is a legacy investment. And I want people to take that away. And what I realized is, after doing the show, so many people got evoked on that. Like, oh man, my childhood was like this. And I remember my grandfather used to do that. And my mother was doing this at our home. And I wished we would still had our home. And so many people, I can't even tell you how many people have come up like, I'm trying to get my house back in my hometown and I want to do this and that. And I'm just like, wow, this is powerful, because everybody, right? Everybody is still a kid. Even though we grow, we go through changes and we go through life experiences, we are still all trying to get those good feelings. That's what we're based off of, right? Those feelings of our childhood. Which we chase them every day, right? The greatest feelings from that time. And so it's important to have good childhoods. It's important to raise good kids. And I think that that all stems from the structure and the foundation that they have, and that all goes back to home ownership. So, or how you're building your home or making your house a home. And so, yeah, I want people to take that away from that. I'm teaching a class at the Restore in Chicago on October 5th. And this course is going to in person. I'll be there. So if you are listening and you're in Chicago, please come and see me on October 5th at the Restore on 63rd and Western for Habitat Humanity Chicago. But there I am going to be teaching how to make your house a home. So it's tips and tricks on how to really make your house personal to you, so that it feels good, it looks good, and you're excited to be there. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to it, but it is the foundation of where we are and where we go in life is where we start. And so that's what my husband and I are trying to push out.
And I love that. And thank you just for sharing it. I feel like I left this conversation with a lot of insight, and I'm sure that everybody who sees this will for sure. So thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much for joining us. And just let your husband know that if there is any talk when it comes to the Friday sequel, he better be in the conversation.
I know, right? How could they do that without him?
Thank you so
I
much, guys.
will. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.